Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati neshtiki Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sati Devi Pranamamni Hari Priya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
So we're continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 9, Text 10. That Lord Brahma has been offering prayers to Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So reading on, the impersonalists who take much trouble in penance and austerity for self-liberation may approach the impersonal Brahmajyoti, but ultimately, because of not being situated in devotional service, they glide down again to the material world to undergo another term of material existence. This is confirmed as follows. So Bhagavatam 10.2.32 has this verse. Ye Ravindaksha Vimuktamaninas Tvai Astabhavat Avishuddha Buddhaya Aruhya Krichrena Parampadam Tataha Patanti Ado Anadrita Yusmad Angrayaha. Persons who are falsely under the impression of being liberated without devotional service to the Lord may reach the goal of Brahmajyoti, but because of their impure consciousness and for want of shelter in the Vaikuntha Lokas, such so-called liberated persons fall again fall down into the material existence. So we can see that this point is repeated so many times in Bhagavatam because the desire for sitting in the Brahmajyoti is so deep in so many of our hearts that it's again and again reminding us, hey, don't have this desire, because even if you reach there, it is not a true liberation, it's false. You're just having an impression that you're liberated, but it's false. Why? Because it's temporary. You will come back to this material world, even if you go and sit in the divine light. And then why will you come back? Because the consciousness is not yet purified. The connection to Krishna has not yet been established, because that's our original position. Because we have to remember that we are all souls, eternal parts and parcel of Krishna. And our original position is to be situated in the loving relationship with Krishna. But in the Brahmajyoti, there is no capacity for engaging in this loving relationship. So it's not yet our original position. So that's the reason we will come back again into the material existence. Therefore, no one can manufacture any system of religion without the principle of devotional service to the Lord. So that religion means we engaging in devotional service to the Lord. So otherwise, then it's not religion. Because the goal of religion is to love God. And how do we love God? By engaging in devotional service, by trying to getting to know him, by associating with him. How can we love someone if we don't know that person? If I say I love you, but I don't know you, then. But by devotional service, we are associating with the Lord. And then the more we are associating with him, the more we are getting to know him. So as we find in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the initiator of religious principles is the Lord himself. So it's only Krishna who can explain to us what is true religion, what are the principles of religion. Only the Lord can tell us. Why? Because we all in the material world, we are in this human form. And so we have these 4 defects that we cheat, we are in illusion, we have imperfect senses. Sorry, and there's a 4th one, which I'm forgetting. If anyone remembers, can help me with that. So anyway, because of these 4 defects, we cannot manufacture religious principles because then those principles will be defective. But only the Lord, because he's above any defect, can tell us what is true religious principle.
We do mistakes.
We commit mistakes. That's right. Thank you so much. Yeah. So in Bhagavad Gita, so if we make mistake, then how can we set up a religious principle, Then that means those principles will be faulty. And then how will we get out of here? How will we know the Lord? So in Bhagavad Gita also, we find that the Lord condemns all forms of religion other than that which entails the process of surrendering unto the Supreme. Any system which leads one to the devotional service of the Lord and nothing else is actually religion or philosophy. So we can see nowadays in the modern society, there's so many philosophies that are being propagated under the name of religion. But there is nothing, you don't even hear anything about God in there. Whereas true religion means what? Surrender to Krishna, surrender to the Supreme Lord. The Lord has many names. So it could be another name. That's okay. That's okay, because he is unlimited, he has unlimited names. But the process should be surrendering to the Lord. How? By engaging in devotional service. In the 6th canto, we find the following statements of Yamraj, the controller of all unfaithful living entities. So Yamraj, he is called the controller of all unfaithful living entities. Means he's not the controller of the devotees. The devotees who have faith in the Lord, the Yamraj does not control them. That's what the discussion is between the Yamadutas and Vishnudutas, when the Yamadutas come to take up Ajamil. But because he says the name Narayan inoffensively, the Vishnudutas come, and the Vishnudutas do not allow the Yamadutas to take Ajamil's soul. So that's how powerful the faith, the devotional service to the Supreme Lord is. So if we want to also not be under the control of Yamaraj, we should take up the process of devotional service with full faith, without any doubt. Just continue hearing and chanting. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagvat pranitam navai vidur rasayo napi devaha na siddha mukhya asura manushyaha kuto no vidyadhara charanadayaha swayambhur narada shambhu kumara kapilo manuhu pralado janako bhishmo balir vaya sakir vayam dvadashaite vajani mo dharmam bhagavatam bhattaha goyam vishudam durbodham jam gyadvamritam ashnute. So this is from Bhagavatam Canto 6, Chapter 3, text 19 to 21. The principles of religion are initiated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and no one else, including the sages and demigods, can manufacture any principles. So religion is the principles are given by God, no human being, because we just said, because of these 4 defects. Even if that person is a great sage or a mystic yogi or a demigod, can't do that. Since even great sages and demigods are unauthorized to inaugurate such principles of religion, what to speak of others, the so-called mystics, demons, human beings, vidyadharas and charanas living in the lower planets. So then that means principles of religion are given by the Supreme Lord. So even the demigods like Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva cannot set the principles. They are the Mahajans, they can speak about the principles, but they cannot establish that this is the principles. That establishment, that this is what religion is given only by God. So 12 personalities, Brahma, Narad, Lord Shiva, Kumar, Kapila, Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, Bhishma, Bali, Sukadev Goswami, and Yamaraj are agents of the Lord, authorized to speak and propagate the principles of religion. So these are the 12 Mahajans. And then we are encouraged to follow in the footsteps of the Mahajans, of the pure devotees. So how then Brahma, Narad, Lord Shiva, Kumar, Kapila, Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, Bhishma, Bali, Sukadev Goswami, and Yamaraj. So they have understood the principles of religion. That's the reason they are able to speak. So we need to follow in their footsteps, follow the instructions, and also follow the instructions of the people who are following the instructions. Somebody who's following the instructions of Narad Muni, somebody who's actually following Lord Shiva's instructions. We can follow the instructions because that's the parampara system then. No? That's the way spiritual knowledge is disseminated in human society. But someone who's really following their principle, following their instructions, not according to our mental concoction. Like people say we are followers of Lord Shiva, but then they engage in a lot of smoking weed and all that, like charas, ganja. But that's not what's the instruction of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is saying, just surrender to Krishna and engage in devotional service. That is following instructions of Lord Shiva, not imitating. So, any questions or comments till now?
I'm a bit confused about Yamaraj. I thought Yamaraj takes the people who do unlawful, right?
That's right.
Like it doesn't. And then how come he speaks, is it? So he's authorized, huh?
He is a Mahajan because imagine, he has such a great responsibility that he has to decide that, this soul now, what punishment he should get, where he should go, where he should not go, what is the next body he's going to get, everything. So he has a very great responsibility. So if he was not a pure devotee, then he can put in his personal desire, motive in it, Then what's going to happen to the soul? Oh, I don't like this soul, so I'm going to let him be always in the Patala Loka, for example. Okay. Right? So Yamraj, he has a very, very great responsibility. And who else can do such a sensitive, responsible position other than a pure devotee of the Lord? And because this Yamraj is so busy, always giving out these punishments, and he does not get any chance to engage in devotion, not much chance to speak of the glories of the Lord, he was happy to come as Vidura.
Oh,
You
oh,
know,
yeah,
you,
yeah, right. Yeah, we read earlier, correct.
yeah,
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's what it is.
Okay.
So then, reading on, the principles of religion are not open to any ordinary living entity. They are just to bring the human being onto the platform of morality. Non-violence, etc., are necessary for misguided persons, because unless one is moral and non-violent, one cannot understand the principles of religion. So we can see that's why Lord Buddha, he came, because at that time, this human society, we were just engaging in slaughtering animals in the name of religion. So there was no morality, there was a lot of violence happening. Then how to understand? If we are engaging in sinful activities, we will not be able to understand the principles of religion. So that's the reason they are called sub-religious principles. And these are required as a foundation to be able to understand the principle of religion. To understand what is actually religion is very difficult, even if one is situated in the principles of morality and nonviolence. It is very confidential, because as soon as one is conversant with the real principles of religion, he is at once liberated to the eternal life of bliss and knowledge. Therefore, one who is not situated in the principles of devotional service to the Lord should not pose himself as a religious leader of the innocent public. So what is the religious principles? Engage in devotional service. Love the Supreme Lord. And so not many people know it, although it's openly said by all the devotees. It's not that the devotees speak these principles in private, not for everyone to hear, but because our desires are so strong, our mind is so involved in those desires, we are unable to hear what the devotees are saying. So even if we have come to the mode of following the moral principles, having a very moral character, being non-violent, still we cannot understand the principles of religion. Still. And why Krishna is making it so confidential? Because then one can easily give up this material world. Once one is situated in devotional service begins from the liberated platform. You know, your devotional service begins from the liberated platform. So we just continue engaging in devotional service, just continue hearing and chanting, knowing that this is what is the goal of human life. The Isopanisad emphatically forbids this nonsense in the following mantra. What's the nonsense? That one should not pose himself as a religious leader of the innocent public. So, Andam tava pravishanti ye sambhutim apasate tato bhuya eva te tamo yatu sambhutyam rataha. A person in ignorance of the principles of religion, who therefore does nothing in the matter of religion, is far better than a person who misguides others in the name of religion, without reference to the factual religious principles of devotional service. Such so-called leaders of religion are sure to be condemned by Brahma and other great authorities. So Sri Isopanishad is saying, an ignorant person is better. It's okay if you're ignorant, you do not know what religion is. You've not yet had that opportunity. That's okay. So you're ignorant. You're better than somebody who's posing to know what religion is and totally misguiding the others' faith. Not speaking at all about devotional service, but in fact misguiding others. Then that such a person, such a so-called leader, is condemned even by Lord Brahma and all the great authorities. Why? Why is a person who misguides others condemned? Anyone? Why would it be?
Is it that because they want them to follow these like saints or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. They're not teaching them what is true principles. That get out of this material world, go back home, back to Godhead.
Basically, it's like selfishness, no? Like you follow me, you don't follow anybody else. Like how
Exactly.
these days, how people actually turn out to be.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Worship me, you know. And then they are all, and so then what's going to happen to the destination of this misguided people who are following such leaders, you know? Then their next life, they're still under the laws of karma. They might not be able to get a human life. So then they miss the opportunity to get out of this life, you know? So that's why it's a great responsibility if somebody is posing as a religious leader. Very great responsibility, because otherwise all the karma of all the living entities they have misguided comes onto them. So then reading on. Text 11. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hritsaroja ashesh shrutekshita patho nanu natha pumsam yadyadhyata urugaya vibhavayanti tad vapu pranayase sad anugrahaya. Oh my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed. And you take your seat there. You're so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. So the statement here that the Lord manifests himself before the devotee in the form in which the devotee likes to worship him indicates that the Lord becomes subordinate to the desire of the devotee. So much so that he manifests his particular form as the devotee demands. This demand of the devotee is satisfied by the Lord because he is pliable in terms of the transcendental loving service of the devotee. So we can see what Brahma is saying, that in a form that the devotee wants to see you, wants to worship you, you are taking that form because it's the desire of the devotee. So because the devotee loves you so much, you're fulfilling the demands of the devotee, means you are serving the devotee, means the devotee's desire is your order. The devotee desires it, so you're fulfilling it. That's how loving Krishna is. He's not saying, oh, I'm God, so everybody must just fulfill my desire only. Why will I fulfill your desire? But here he is. Does anybody remember any incidents where Krishna, to fulfill the desire of his devotee, he even went against his own promise? It's on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. You know, Krishna had promised.
He picked up the weapon.
Yeah, he picked up the chariot. Thank you. The chariot wheel.
Yeah.
He picked up the chariot wheel. He had promised he's not going to pick up a weapon. So chariot wheel is not technically a weapon, but still he was using it as a weapon to hit Bhishma Dev. And it was Bhishma Dev's desire that I'm going to break Krishna's promise. And it was Bhishma Dev's desire to see Krishna in that form, because Bhishma Dev and Krishna, they have that kind of loving relationship, you know. So Bhishma desired to see Krishna in that form, and Krishna is subservient. So he's so loving, you know. By all means, we should try to get closer to him by hearing and chanting about him. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4:11. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajami aham. One should note, however, that the Lord is never the order supplier of the devotee. Here, ye yathamam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajami aham means that as you surrender, as much as you surrender, to that degree, I reveal myself. So here in this verse, it is particularly mentioned, Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita. This indicates the efficiency achieved through execution of mature devotional service or prema, love of Godhead. So it's only by love. It's not that a devotee is ordering Krishna. It's the devotee's love for Krishna that makes Krishna do these things. It's like we were hearing now, 1 month we were singing that the Damodarashtakam, that he's only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy. You know, so he's conquered by devotees because of their pure love. It's only that. And he gets subservient to this love. He sees, oh my God, my devotee loves me so much. Let me make my devotee happy. Let me make him, he wants to see me in this form. Let me have that form for him because of the love that's between them. That's the loving relationship. This state of prema is achieved by the gradual process of development from faith to love. So on faith, one associates with bona fide devotees, and by such association, one can become engaged in bona fide devotional service, which includes proper initiation and the execution of the primary devotional duties prescribed in the revealed scriptures. So it's mentioned, how do we reach to prema, have love for God? How from our position where we are, how do we reach that? It's given, the process is given. That's the process of devotional service, the stages. What? Faith. We have initial some shraddha, some slight faith. So we start associating with the devotees. Oh, let me see, let me hear what the devotees are saying. Let me try to hear. Then as the faith increases, then the devotees will engage one in hearing and chanting. Then as the faith increases, then one takes a proper initiation. After initiation, then begins the bhajana kriya, execution of primary devotional duties prescribed in the revealed scriptures. So after one has taken the proper initiation, then continuing to hear and chant. Then what happens? All the unwanted material desires in our heart are gone. Then we come to the stage of firm faith. That's firm, unshakable faith. That's called nishtha. From nishtha, then one begins, then the stages, they say, it happens very fast. The major part is taken by anartha nivritti, where we are engaging in devotional service, and then gradually, our material desires are being washed away. What are they? Unwanted things which are painful to the heart. Actually, we think of material desires is good to have, but we are not realizing that that is what's causing pain in our heart. So the more we engage in devotional service, those things are washed off. Then we come to the platform of firm faith, nishtha. Then from there, we continue engaging in devotional service, continue hearing and chanting and hearing. Then we will get a taste for it, taste for hearing and chanting. Then we are attached to hearing and chanting. Then we will hear and chant with emotion, bhava for Krishna, emotions for Krishna. Then comes prema, love, pure love of God. So it just begins with a slight faith, associate with devotees, hear and chant in their association. So the Shrutekshita path is to hear from bona fide devotees who are conversant with Vedic wisdom, free from mundane sentiment. So we need to hear from bona fide devotees, somebody who's really a devotee, who really knows what is the Vedic wisdom all about, who really knows what is true knowledge. the spiritual knowledge. He's not speaking from emotions, mundane sentiment. He's not just being emotional, he's speaking the truth. But this bona fide hearing process, the neophyte devotee becomes cleansed of all material rubbish, and thus he becomes attached to one of the many transcendental forms of the Lord, as described in the Vedas. So as we said, we just continue hearing and chanting. All the painful things in our heart will go away, and we will get attached to the Supreme Lord. So we'll stop here for today. Are there any questions or comments?
I just want to add that, yeah, with faith, but there has to be also longing for the Lord, longing for Krishna. Then the bhava will come, no?
Oh, the bhav and the longing, all those are like, later stages. If we see
That
the real,
longing, then only, right?
I'm sorry.
If you have longing,
Yeah.
then you will have, right, that thing to do devotional service.
Well, we do have some sort of bhav. That's why we are continuing to do it. We do have some sort of a desire. It's true to some sort. Yeah, it's not that full attachment or the full bhav, which is in the stage of bhava, but we will have to a little degree. Yeah, a little degree, some sort of a bhava or some sort of a longing. But those, to have that pure emotion or the pure attachment, that's really something else. Now we just have glimpses. We have like slight glimpses of these emotions. So imagine having a slight glimpse of such emotion is so blissful. What would be like when we are situated fully in the attachment for Krishna, or fully in that bhava for Krishna,
Yeah, like how we say, na, Krishna, I want to love you till to intoxication. All this is, right? It is much later stage, right? But we can always just have this prayer, no?
Yeah, sure.
Heart.
Yeah, of course. To have that longing for Baba. Oh, I wish I can have that emotion for you.
Yes.
Yeah, to have that prayer. Yes, it's very good. That I don't have the emotion for you, Krishna, but please give me this emotion for you. Please give me the love for you. Yes. Nice, thank you. So we'll finish the second paragraph tomorrow because I don't want to rush it. Yeah, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for joining it. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.